thank you for clocking in, waking up with us on this Monday morning, the day after what was a long weekend indeed, celebrating July 4th and all of the festivities that come along with that. We've got an absolutely loaded show today set for this Monday. No guests, just your calls, your texts, your comments on the stream. 804-327-0888. You know the number. You love the number. Feel free to type in that number and let us know your thoughts, because today we're talking some Gold Cup. We're talking some Nationals, as they have fired both their general manager and their head manager in Mike Rizzo and Davey Martinez. Maybe a little Wimbledon sprinkled in there, as we've got Ben Shelton getting going today at 9:30 a.m. And so much more. I've got to be a hater towards Formula One as well. So it's a loaded show. Alan, how are you doing on this Monday? I know things are dragging a little bit. We're the only ones in the studios across all of our sister stations. When I first rolled in, I thought I was in the wrong because we were the only ones here.
No, I mean, I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, that's what the 4th of July weekend does.
Yeah, but it's not the good tired. It's the tired from hosting the cookout, things like that. I still haven't recovered.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, I did not have to host a single thing this weekend. Went from Ashton Creek Vineyards on Thursday to Colonial Beach, then to Friends Cookout in Richmond, then to Fredericksburg with my mom, and then back in yesterday and had a little time to rest. And now we're back rolling. We were everywhere and everywhere around this area.
Yeah, now we covered pretty much all the sections of Virginia you could cover.
Did you see the outcome at the hot dog eating contest over at Parlay in Scott's Edition?
I didn't, because when I'm in the mountains, I don't have internet.
All right.
And I couldn't look it up.
This is my official challenge to the winner of the Parlay hot dog eating contest. It was Paul. His nickname is McNasty Tran. So Paul Tran, nickname McNasty. He ate 9 hot dogs to win. 9 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
I feel like I could destroy that. Not destroy that. I feel like I could get 12 in 10 minutes.
Like, I could do better than
right?
9.
Like,
but I'm not going to volunteer to do better than 9.
I'll happily volunteer. If McNasty wants to come on the show, we'll do a YouTube special, another hot dog eating contest, because 9 feels really low. Some other people I saw were getting like 5, 4, 7. Come on, I feel like I can
amateurs, man.
I am too, but I feel like I could hit double digits quite easily. Hot dogs aren't that big.
You have to do it though. You've kind of thrown down the gauntlet.
I'm happy to throw down the gauntlet. Look, maybe this is my thing. Maybe hot dog eating is my thing. I did the 999 with ease. I think I could do double digit hot dogs in 10 minutes with ease.
I just want to drink the lemonade. That's all I'm there for. I'm not messing with the hot dog.
He ate drank like 5 gallons of lemonade in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
On the 4th. That was insane. And then Joey Chestnut, of course, had 70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes at the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. He reclaims that belt. So congratulations to Joey Chestnut. You go away for a year because you wanted to eat Beyond Meat.
You're crazy.
You realize that Nathan's famous hot dogs are famous for a reason. They're not called Beyond famous hot dogs over on the meatless side. So he came back, got a little Nathan's in him, and had 70 and a half. Just the goat of all goats. I think there's a real argument to say that Joey Chestnut is the greatest of all time among all greatest of all times.
How many of the Beyond hot dogs did he eat?
I don't know. That was on Netflix.
Yeah,
and no one watched
I didn't watch that one.
It was him and Kobayashi, and no one watched it.
Kobayashi's actually kind of good too. Man.
Yeah, Kobayashi was Joey Chestnut before Joey Chestnut was Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, and he looks way better shape, which is crazy.
Yeah, Joey looks like he eats 70 and a half hot dogs.
Joey looks like he's a professional eater.
Kobayashi looks skinny.
Kobayashi looked like he was ready to go 10 rounds with anybody.
Yeah, Joey Chestnut looks like his job is eating hot dogs for a living. Joey Chestnut looks like his job is traveling around the country eating random things that people put in front of him.
I'm gonna mark Joey Chestnut down as my new dad bod athlete. Like, we can do this.
We can do this. I can be a professional. We both could be professional athletes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's update you with what else you may have missed over the wide world of sports over the weekend.
This is your Fitz The Bill morning update. Getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, last night in the Gold Cup final, the U.S. men's national team fell to Mexico 2-1. The U.S. got the scoring going in a hurry. Chris Richards got a goal in the 4th minute, but 2 unanswered goals, one in the 27th minute and one late in the second half, gave Mexico the win. Carlos Alcaraz won his 4th round match at Wimbledon to advance to the quarterfinals. He has now won 22 straight matches dating back till April 20th. American Taylor Fritz also won to punch his ticket to the quarterfinals. Ben Shelton, he's in action today at 9:30 a.m. He got a 3rd round win. He'll face off against Sonego in the 4th round today. On the women's side, world number 1 Sabalenka keeps on rolling. She's the only top 5 ranked tennis player remaining on the women's side. In the MLB, the Red Sox down the Nationals 6-4, and then shortly after that, they fired both their general manager and manager. Orioles beat the Braves in Atlanta 2-1. The Phillies got a 3-1 win over the Reds in Philly. Wheeler had a great performance in that one. Yankees beat the Mets 6-4 in the Subway Series, this edition being played in Queens, and the Dodgers fell 5-1 to the Houston Astros. The All-Star rosters are fully finalized. A couple notable snubs include Juan Soto and Mookie Betts. Clayton Kershaw was a legend addition, becoming the first since 2022 when Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols were named legend additions to the All-Star roster. And we mentioned it, the Nationals fired general manager Mike Rizzo and manager Davey Martinez in a shocking move just days away from the start of the 2025 MLB draft, where the Nationals hold the number 1 overall pick. We'll dive into the Nationals news in a little bit later on in today's show. That'll do it for the sports update. I didn't mention this one, but I do have to be a hater here at the top of the show. And I hate being a hater. I don't hate being a hater. Formula One's kind of a joke, man. Nico Hulkenberg, he got a podium finish, which means he finished top 3. And when you say he got a podium finish, it means he finished 3rd. And Nico Hulkenberg, this guy has been in Formula One for 15 years. He's raced over 230 races, and this is his first ever top 3 finish. How do you not luck into that? That just shows. And I know this year, Red Bull's not as dominant as they used to be. McLaren's a little bit more dominant than they used to be. But just at the end of the day, the lack of parity in Formula One is wild to me. And this is why I think Formula One will always be the second motorsports, even the 3rd motorsport that people care about behind NASCAR and IndyCar. Formula One might be battling a bit with IndyCar, but Formula One will never overtake NASCAR in the Americas for the number 1 motorsport, because the lack of parity is just insane. There's not a competitive nature to it. You got your top 1, 2, 3 maybe teams, and then outside of that, it's a bunch of people who haven't had success in years. Like the team Nico races for, Sauber, Kick, whatever it is, they've gone through 14 different rebrands just trying to get more money into the team so they can actually compete. They're never competitive. You look at, Williams Racing, they used to be the cream of the crop, and they haven't had success in 30 years, and they're just putting a NASCAR, they're putting a car out on the track just to do it. It is such a have and have not type of league Formula One is, and it just makes no sense. I tweeted this out yesterday, and someone responded and said it's more of an engineering competition than it is actually racing competition, which is true. You're trying to find the loopholes in the rules, trying to make the best possible car that you can and put it out on the track. And the races are really won and lost in the garage with the engineers. But even then, the parity in it is completely wild. What are we doing? You're putting a Williams car out there, an Alpine car out there that has no chance of winning. And then it's just completely glamorized when Nico wins this weekend, gets a podium this weekend. He's been in the sport for 15 years, over 230 races. You're telling me he never would have just lucked into a win? Shane Van Gisbergen, he won this race over the weekend in NASCAR at the Chicago Street Course. He has been racing full-time for 1 year. He got his first win in 2023 at the Chicago Street Course, the inaugural Chicago race. And since then, he has now racked up 2 more wins. So he has 3 career wins in NASCAR in 1 full-time year of racing. He raced part-time last year and raced part-time in 2023. 3 wins over that time span. Nico Hulkenberg has been racing for 15 years, does not have a win, has 1 top 3 finish, because it's not because he's not a good driver. It's because he's never been given a car that can compete at the top level. And it is insane that F1 is okay with these teams just not being competitive. It's wild to me. And I just got to get that off my chest. I had to be a hater here at the top because it makes, like, my mind cannot comprehend the fact that you're just putting cars out there that have no chance of winning. It makes Formula One look, and I get it's the most, I would say it's the most popular motorsport in the world, and I get it, but in America, it's just never going to catch on, and it probably should. Like, why are we putting Williams out there against McLaren and Mercedes, and we expect them to run well? It is such a disparity between the haves and the have-nots, and they make it seem like getting this podium is this huge deal, and I just do not understand it. Oh, Corey texted in, Corey with a K, said Nico equals Tommy Fleetwood in golf. Just always around. Finally breaks through, gets his podium. Hopefully Tommy Fleetwood's able to break through eventually and win a major or something. He's always sniffing around the top of the leaderboard, but it just makes no sense. Formula One's probably the only sport where you can go into it and you go, all right, I know the back 10 to 15 cars are not going to be actually in contention to win. And then we could get into the whole thing where it's extremely hard to pass in the sport. So you get barely any what they call overtakes. It's just, everyone was just so hype about Nico getting this. And I'm just like, why are we not saying for what it is? Formula One is boring. Give me NASCAR. This is also my long-winded way to say NASCAR's number one. NASCAR's where it's at. Go see NASCAR live in person at Richmond, because you'll see actual passing and a lot of fun racing.
Yeah, that's the complaint I've heard through a lot of Formula One. And they're supposed to be trying to do some things to make it better, but I don't know. I think you're onto something. It's kind of stale for our market, and our market being America.
Yeah.
But it still seems to be kind of the more ritzy racing internationally.
It has this aura around it where they do race at Monaco, and you watch these races on the yachts, and there's millions, if not billions of dollars into it. Like, Nico Hulkenberg has probably made a lot of money, like a lot of money, over his years racing in Formula One for never being a top driver in the sport, because he's never been given a car that is elite. I mean, he races right now for the Stake F1 Team Kick Sober. All right. That's a lot of words. Stake is the betting app that Drake uses. Kick is the streaming platform that Aiden Ross is on. If you know what I'm talking about, stop me now. Just a lot of just different things. He was on Renault for a little bit, a French team that no longer exists because they weren't able to be at the top of the field for a long period of time. He was with Alpine, Racing Point as a reserve, Force India, Sauber, started at Williams. None of these teams are actually like competitive. Haas for a while, just not a lot of competitive stuff. Just wild to me. And NASCAR has that too. Like, granted, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to be throwing shade at Ty Dillon, but and what am I saying? Ty Dillon has found his way into the Elite 8 of this in-season tournament that NASCAR is doing. But Ty Dillon's racing for a team that doesn't traditionally have speed week in and week out. You got BJ McLeod, who I think he had to sell his charter or something like that, but he was consistently in the back of the pack. But for the most part, you have any driver can win any race. Carson Hocevar in the 77 has been fantastic as a rookie this year, and you just could never expect that type of performance from a rookie who's racing for the Team Kick Sauber F1 team, because they just don't have the same speed, and the lack of parity is insane in Formula One. It is insane. And NASCAR over here, they've got a road course warrior who has won 3 races in 3 years, 2 of them coming this season, and he's not, Trackhouse is a good team, not a great team, but it's a team that would never be able to compete in F1 if the things were equal. And it's because NASCAR is able to kind of create that parity within the league, which I think is a good thing, which I think creates people caring about it a little more. And you can like any driver, and any week, any driver can win. All right, let's get our first break in here. On the other side, we got to talk a little bit about the Gold Cup that happened last night. A huge missed call. Was it a missed call? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break right here, 106.1.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. And make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah, man. I bet we could pull off a street race like this.
Dude, totally.
Hey, you know this is just a movie, right?
Whoa, what?
You try this in real life, you could kill someone, or even yourself.
Life's not like the movies. Avoid a life-changing consequence and slow down, because this is one disaster you can't outrun. Speeding catches up with you. A message presented by NHTSA.
The Black Friday and July event from Dell Technologies is here with great offers on trusted technology. You'll also discover huge deals on new AI-ready laptops like the Dell 14 Plus featuring Intel Core Ultra processors starting at $699.99. Save on top accessories, plus enjoy fast, free shipping and other benefits. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah, man. I bet we could pull off a street race like this.
Dude, totally.
Hey, you know this is just a movie, right?
Whoa, what?
You try this in real life, you could kill someone, or even yourself.
Life's not like the movies. Avoid a life-changing consequence and slow down, because this is one disaster you can't outrun. Speeding catches up with you. A message presented by NHTSA.
The Black Friday and July event from Dell Technologies is here with great offers on trusted technology. You'll also discover huge deals on new AI-ready laptops like the Dell 14 Plus featuring Intel Core Ultra processors starting at $699.99. Save on top accessories, plus enjoy fast, free shipping and other benefits. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals. 106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect bumper-to-bumper traffic heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and the 95 interchange. Heading north on 95, we're seeing some backup between the 64 merge and Lombardi Street overpass, as well as between Bells Road and Demorey Street, whereas 95 southbound is seeing that same congestion between Chamberlain Avenue and Hermitage Road. And expect merging delays on 195 between Laburnum and Bryant Park.
Only local morning sports talk show here in the 804. Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. Live, local, and Richmond through and through. Weekdays 8 to 10 a.m. on ESPN Richmond.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Monday, July 7th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside. And last night, Gold Cup final happened, and the U.S. men's national team, unfortunately, fell 2-1 to Mexico. It was tough. 7-6 now all time in Gold Cup finals. All 6 of those losses have come to the Mexican national team. And it looked like how that game started. It looked like the U.S. men's national team, which some people out there are saying, maybe we sent out our B- team, but that's a bad excuse. Patrick Ajiman is the GOAT, but came out, got a goal in the 4th minute, and then from there kept a little bit of pressure on, but decided that they were going to play back a little bit more defensively, and Mexico took advantage of that, peppering them with a ton of pressure, pushing the issue, and ended up scoring a goal, I think, in the 27th minute, and then again in the 77th minute or so, and that was all they needed. They were able to kind of fend off the U.S. from there and held on to win 2-1. And the big reaction of it, when the game was still 1-1, there was a handball, no handball. So in the second half, the ball was tackled away from a U.S. attacker. He was going into Mexico's box, trying to split 2 defenders, and one of the Mexican defenders tackled him and poked the ball away. So there's just a loose ball now sitting in Mexico's box. The defender, he tried to then turn his body, slipped after making that tackle. He fell down, used his hand to regain his balance. When he put his hand down, it went onto the ball. Fans, the U.S. men's national team, players, coaches, everything like that wanted a handball called. If it was called, it would have been a penalty kick. And for all intents and purposes, would have likely been a goal. U.S. likely would have taken a 2-1 advantage. VAR looked at it. They ruled it was an incidental handball, which is just essentially a situation where a player's hand unintentionally hits a ball, or they didn't make their body deliberately bigger or unnaturally bigger is the official wording. So didn't end up getting called, and the U.S. men's national team ends up falling. But I saw a lot of anger, Alan, on Twitter and everything saying, well, what's a handball then? And it's always funny when people who don't watch soccer like tune in for these big events and then get really upset when a rule that has granted, I'll give it to them, the pretty generic name. It's called a handball. So yeah, of course you would think a handball means anytime a hand touches a ball, but the official rule is if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, then it is a handball. However, if you don't gain an advantage or if it's an unintentional contact, it's not necessarily a handball. And then multiple other things have to go. And it wasn't a handball. And it was unfortunate, but the U.S. still had a ton of opportunities to either take the lead before that or draw even at 2-2 and force extra time.
Yeah, this is why we need Gene for these situations. This is not a handball, and it's even simpler than that. You have a right to keep yourself from face planting. So if you're tripping and falling or stumbling and you put like your hand down to brace yourself or catch yourself and that hand falls on the ball, they're not going to call that.
No.
It's ridiculous. It makes us look whiny.
Yeah. And then all of like the American soccer accounts like CBS Sports Golazo and ESPN FC and everything, like they take the screenshot of it and they go, just engagement farming. I get the deal, but you're just like, is this a handball? And it's like, no, by the rule of the law, it is not a handball. We need to stop. We need to stop. And we had so many opportunities to win that match and kind of just failed on it. I mean, there was a really like in the 82nd minute or so, a very well played ball from one of the defenders, Tim Ream, played it forward, found Patrick Ajiman just right inside of the box, maybe 5 yards away from the keeper, and he just completely whiffed on the ball.
So the issue with U.S. soccer is the quality. We just don't have we don't have all of our I's dotted and all our T's crossed. The second goal, the defender he kept him on by like a leg. He should have been moved up. Even their first goal, it was a bad pass by a backline defender that kind of set up a counter and put us out of position.
That was a constant thing. Bad passes.
Yeah. And that lack of quality is the thing that separates us from like the Spains, the Germanys, and things like this. Quality across the board. We used to not have the quality to finish. Now we got the quality to finish, but we don't have the quality to set it up anymore. We just can't get it all together, which I actually left that Gold Cup more optimistic with this crop of guys, even if they are the air quote B team. Like I thought that they played hard the entire game. Their body language was good, even in the last minute when it was like 4 or 5 seconds left. Like you could still see there was some
trying.
urgency. Yeah. The the game time of the goal that could have tied the game within like 3 minutes of stoppage time. That was just unlucky. Like he had a good run. It was a good pass. It was kind of awkward trying to get between the ball defender and then get a foot on it with the goalie coming down on you. That's difficult. You're looking at world-class finishers to do something like that. We don't have that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and was impressed overall by the quote-unquote B team that it was.
Yeah.
But I come out of this kind of feeling optimistic, but also at the same time sitting there and like, well, the stars that we need to play well didn't play. Like Dest didn't play, Weston McKennie wasn't there, Pulisic wasn't there. Like all of this stuff where it makes me kind of like, sure, this team looked like they were capable enough, not World Cup champion by any means, and even our A team's not that. But it doesn't make me go, all right, I'm excited now for the World Cup. They've got about a year to try and figure things out with their quote unquote A team, with what, Anthony Robinson brings into the fold, Serginho Dest brings into the fold, Weston, Tyler, and Christian Pulisic. You got to see that core of your A team start to really take steps forward now and use this as a springboard, because really the only big name that was on the pitch last night was Tyler Adams in terms of being from the A team.
Yeah, and I can see the European influence on the game. Our passes are shorter and tighter, and they're moving it the proper way. Like it's towards the end of the second half. There was one particular pass that did annoy me where we gave up possession with in the 91st or 92nd minute, where I'm just like, if we had a Fernando Torres or somebody like that, I know that's way back in the day, but if we had higher quality players, we could do things like that. But the fact that some of the attempted passes and attempted shots showed confidence and showed that people are getting it. Like we're not just necessarily settling for like an 8-yard shot. Like there's guys shooting outside the box. There's runs being made, people coming back to the ball. It looked better quality. It's not the result that you want though, ultimately.
Yeah, it's not the result you want because you're going to be playing, in theory, teams better than Mexico in the World Cup.
1,000 times better.
And so, in the Gold Cup, we beat Trinidad and Tobago 5-0. We beat Saudi Arabia 1-0, Haiti 2-1. Then in the quarters, semis, and then we fall in the finals. But you do well there. But then in the back of your mind, you just have, well, what'd you do against Switzerland? And in that friendly, that was a 4-0 just embarrassing loss. In the CONCACAF Nations League in March, you did not do well at all. You fall to Panama 1-0, and then you fall to Canada 2-1 in the third place game. So Gold Cup shows that, they're trending in the right direction, but there's still a long way to go for this U.S. men's national team. So
there's a lot of L's for U.S. national teams, man. We got Ryder Cup coming too. We about to take another L.
That L in that one.
I hope not, but I feel like optimistic.
I feel like we never do well in the Ryder Cup in the last couple of years.
I get so fired up for international competitions, man. It doesn't matter what they're playing. Like if they could do like a chess thing and broadcast it, and you're like, America,
I'm locked.
If it's America versus the world, I'm always hyped for it. It's one of those things where I can't help myself. Even when yesterday, I was tired, man, but I was like, I gotta watch it, and I was into it every single minute.
It was funny because last night I was watching it, and then I was like, I don't really care. I'll just watch it, and then at the end I was like, come on, we got to score.
Yeah, right.
And then it finished, and I was like, man, why am I upset that we just lost this game? That really, it's not the World Cup. Sure, it's the Gold Cup, but I mean, I don't really.
I threw my hands up like the goalie when they got that second goal to go ahead. I was like, "What are we doing?"
Well, it was funny because it felt like every time I'd look down at my phone, I'd look up at the game, and it'd be like, Mexico's taking another corner kick.
That's a good question. Does the U.S. have the goal scorer to threaten even the tier 2 Euro teams, like a Wales? I would say they do.
I think they do.
Yeah,
I think. Maybe this is my American nationalism showing, but I think Pulisic is that good.
No, I'll be completely honest with you. It's not even me being a homer. Like we've got enough quality in the EPL and abroad now, where when we do bring our A team together, the expectation is not only because we're a nation way bigger than Wales and we probably have way more money invested into our soccer.
Now they have Gareth Bale, but now he's old.
Yeah, he's like 50. Now, and for the folks who get mad about that, 50 is old in soccer. I'm sorry, but yeah, we've got the quality to get that done. Like, we should beat the Wales, especially if we're at home. And by home, we're in the United States playing in the World Cup. I expect us to beat the Wales. It's the upper echelon teams that the U.S. is going to always struggle with a little bit. We'll need some miracles to beat like the Germanys, the Belgiums, even the Englands, even though England beats themselves. We'll need a little bit more than that, but the overall quality of this current crop of American soccer is significantly better collectively than anything I've seen in my lifetime, I would say.
Yes. They've got the stuff to be a dangerous team, and if they play the right type of defense, I mean, maybe they can pull off an upset or something like that.
And you're going to want to keep an eye on them because when the World Cup starts, that's pretty much the only thing everybody's going to be talking about.
Yeah. And I even think Timothy Weah's pretty good, who's like their second string or second tier goal scorer. I think they've got some good talent on that team, and it'll be on display at the World Cup. I'll give them a little bit of a break. They're learning this new coach. It's a completely new system. Let's see how it plays out. A good enough performance in the Gold Cup. The handball wasn't a handball, and at the end of the day, they've taken a necessary step forward. How does Pulisic, how does Weston McKennie, Anthony Robinson, how do they get into the fold now? Because you've seen Diego Luna kind of take over a bigger role. Patrick Agyemang had some moments of brilliance in the Gold Cup. How does it all shake out? But they're in the right direction now under their new head coach. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside. News or snooze coming up on the other side of this break right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-414-9293, 800-414-9293, 800-414-9293.
Amber, Indiana. Game 7 is no place for a baby. Let the baby to bed. It's Amber. It's 9 o'clock at night. Let the baby get some sleep.
There are no clocks when it comes to Game 7. Okay, we don't care that it's 9:30 at night and your kid's still awake. It's Game 7. You've got to show up. It's do or die. This is for all the hours.
Routine, Amber.
The routine has to go out the window.
Amber, Indiana. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at today's forecast, it's currently 76 degrees with a consistent drizzle, with a low today of 74 and a high of 89. I'm seeing some steady rainfall throughout the morning, with clouds peaking out around 1 p.m. and sunnier skies coming out slowly throughout the afternoon and evening. Clear skies are expected tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures warming up with a high of 94 and a low of 76.
Hey, Richmond, this is Joe Simpson. There's only one place in the 804 to stay up to date on all things Atlanta Braves, and that's 106.1 ESPN.
You gotta fight for your right.
Welcome back in. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, News or Snooze. We break down 3 storylines or headlines around the world of sports, and we say if they're newsworthy or snoozeworthy. We've got some MLB, NFL, and we'll bring up soccer one more time here on today's News or Snooze.
News or snooze.
Headline number 1. This one is from ESPN. Steelers general manager Omar Khan now is under contract through 2028 with a new deal. Newsworthy. Definitely newsworthy. Omar and his team, this is a quote from Steelers president Art Rooney II. Again, I question why he's a second, not a junior, but that's not the point of News or Snooze. Quote, Omar and his team have done a great job over the past 3 years in constructing our roster through the NFL draft, strategic trades, and free agency. We look forward to continuing that trend that will lead to even more success on the field. Notable also that Steelers coach Mike Tomlin did sign a 3-year extension last offseason, so he's under contract through 2027, which puts the two sides, the coach and the general manager, in lockstep here. So newsworthy that the Steelers have essentially shored up that tandem at the top for next year's NFL draft, in a draft where they have 12 picks, currently the most out of any team in a draft that will be hosted in Pittsburgh. I've been a noted Steelers hater on this show because I just do not fully grasp their thinking. Trading for DK Metcalf, cornerback Jalen Ramsey, signing Aaron Rodgers. If you forgot, they signed Darius Slay in free agency too. These are, outside of DK Metcalf, these are win now moves. Aaron Rodgers is old. Darius Slay is in the twilight of his career. Jalen Ramsey, still an elite level cornerback, but he can't really play man-to-man coverage on the outside. You got to put him in the slot, maybe slide him back to safety. You've kind of got to work with Jalen Ramsey's skill set now in his back half of his career. Those are all win now moves. Now, Art Rooney II is a fan of these moves. He's even a fan of them accumulating 12 draft picks. But those win now moves don't fully align with the build for the future that they are doing as well by accumulating these draft picks. Now, one of my theories for what they're doing with these draft picks is you get a lot of them. You trade up in the NFL draft. You trade up to maybe a top 5 pick somewhere in there because you have a plethora of picks. Maybe you try to start wheeling and dealing. And then in that case, Omar Khan does deserve this contract extension. If he's able to wheel and deal his 12 picks and turn it into a franchise quarterback and a couple other key players, then I would say it's a successful 2026 NFL draft. But as it stands now, you're going to have like the 18th to 22nd pick probably, just based off of past success with Mike Tomlin. The dude never goes under 500. And so you're probably going to have a pick in the middle of the first round. Going to be tough to jump up into the top 5 to get a franchise quarterback. I mean, it feels like they're trying to do this whole 2 timeline thing that the Philadelphia 76ers have been trying to execute with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Look, it's like the old adage. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. If you have 2 timelines, you have none. Omar Khan threading that needle. He gets the new deal. It's newsworthy, but I just don't think this is going to work out in the end for either Omar Khan or Mike Tomlin. I think the Steelers, they've tied themselves to at least the 2027 year. So with this move, I don't think Mike Tomlin is going to be fired at the end of the year, regardless of what the outcome is. The Steelers will keep trudging forward with this brain trust of Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. But they've got 2 timelines going on. If you got 2 timelines, you've got none. Omar Khan has a lot of work to do here in this season from now until next year's draft to try and make them a competitive team, a Super Bowl competitive team in 2026.
Yeah, there's
I love
a
the
lot
clearing of the throat.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moves that I haven't necessarily agree with. And this is the realm where we get to where fans of the Steelers will tell us we're crazy, we're haters, we don't know what we're talking about.
Happy to talk with them.
And
I'll go
that's,
get Kobe.
And that's fine because, again, as a fan, I feel like Steelers Nation should be optimistic about everything, right? Because at its base, there's a plan. What's the end game? We don't necessarily know, but they're moving in a direction that signals, hey, we realize we don't have our quarterback of the future. We're not going to keep doing this Russell Wilson at the end of his career, Justin Fields project, and now Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career thing. We're looking to position ourselves to get our next guy. You don't like this isn't like the NBA where you have to have a lottery pick necessarily to have talent that'll be good. They've got 3 third-round picks, a second-round pick, and a first-round pick. Even if they're in the middle, if they give their first, those 3 threes in the second, they can move up a couple spots if somebody has fallen down. And we've seen that in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Guys have fallen. Like, you don't have to get the number 1 overall pick to get a good quarterback anymore.
And odds are you probably don't want the number 1 prospect of a quarterback. Jaden Daniels was the second rated one, and Jaden Daniels is looking better than Caleb Williams. So I get that. It's just funny to me that they're saying we got TJ Watt, who they're trying to work out an extension with. You got TJ Watt, Aaron Rodgers. You've got an older team, and you also have all of these draft picks, but it's just you're working on 2 timelines. It seems like they're trying to say we could win the Super Bowl this year by the moves that they've made. But then also in the back of their mind, they're like, we probably can't. That's why we have 12 picks and we're stockpiling all of these picks in the 2026 NFL draft. I mean, what they have done very well is get the fan base interested, get the fan base to be bought in. They've marketed it well. They'll sell tickets. They'll sell out. They'll have a ton of fan interest here in 2025. Just from the outside looking in, I do not see the plan moving forward for the Steelers. If their plan is another above 500 season, and then we cross our fingers that we're able to move up 10 picks from 18 to 8, or even, from 18 to 5, if then that's their plan, that they're crossing their fingers that they can do that. I don't love that plan. It doesn't put them in a spot to succeed. All right. Headline number 2. We're going back to soccer. U.S. men's national team Gold Cup lessons are priceless and painful. Pochettino says. That is from ESPN. That is snoozeworthy. Sure, you'll learn some lessons in the Gold Cup final, but you didn't learn them with your World Cup team, right? You learned it with Patrick Agyemang as your go-to striker. You learned it with Tim Ream playing left back for you. And this is no shade to Tim Ream. He's just 36, and he's probably not going to be the starting left back for the World Cup in 2026 when he's like 37. You learned the lessons with a very good team, but you didn't learn the lessons with the World Cup team. So sure, the lessons for yourself, Pochettino, I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, they might be priceless and they might be painful. And for some of your bench guys, that is 100% true. But what did Weston McKennie learn? What did Serginho Dest learn? What did Christian Pulisic learn? What did Anthony Robinson learn? I don't know if Gio Reyna is even going to make the team. He's kind of peaked and then fell off, but say he finds his footing again. What did Gio Reyna learn? It was a lackluster performance in the Gold Cup final. Lacked finesse at times, lacked precision at times, gave away the ball a lot in their own third. Mexico dominated second half possession. They kept pressure on the United States for a large majority of the second 45. So, sure, you learned the lessons, you learned what not to do, but you didn't do it with your World Cup team. That's why it's snoozeworthy to me. It is snoozeworthy because he may have learned the lessons, but I don't think the players that needed to learn the lessons learned the lessons that were needed. So, snoozeworthy on that one. And our third and final headline, it's a big one. Last place Nationals. This is from Washington Post. Last place Nationals fire manager Dave Martinez and general manager Mike Rizzo. Newsworthy. Alan, did you expect to be reading this headline today on July 7th?
I expected to turn my mic on as I'm talking to myself. I expected to hear it sooner than later, not necessarily, basically the week of All-Star break, but it makes sense.
Like less than a week before the MLB draft.
If you're gonna get it done, do it now. See what you got in the second half of the season, especially with separating yourself from Rizzo. Like if that was your plan to really just clean house and start over, this gives you the perfect opportunity to do that. So we'll see how it plays out in the sense of who they hire next. But the Nationals will have to kind of look inward and realize that they need to pay their players too, because 2019 was not that long ago,
and that was a team that was pretty young,
and you didn't have to get rid of that's the thing.
They got rid of anyone.
Everybody.
You didn't have to get rid of anyone. Maybe Scherzer and Strasburg were the ones you had to get rid of. You didn't have to get rid of Juan Soto and Trey Turner. You didn't have to get rid of Anthony Rendon. Now, Rendon is looking like that was the right move to get rid of him, because I think he's played 2 total games since he moved over to Los Angeles. But I mean, just the ownership of that group has to open up their wallets a little bit more. Mike Rizzo was doing a lot with nothing between his trades, his wheeling and dealing. Mike Rizzo, I think he was one of the best general managers in terms of being able to finesse deals. He got Trey Turner before Trey Turner made his debut. He turned into a high level player. That trade with Juan Soto, bringing back Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, James Wood, all-star, ace in Mackenzie Gore. I mean, the dude's a wheeler and dealer. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Dolphin Dave is on line 1 on this July 7th morning. Good morning, Dolphin Dave. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. Happy July 7th. Hope you are well. I'm watching the East in baseball, and I don't know quite what to make of it. By all rights, even though I'm a Mets fan, the Phillies should have been running away with this. And the Phillies seem to be playing just as bad baseball as we are. We end up, losing 6 games in a row, then winning 4 games in a row, then losing 1 against the Yankees, which, Yankees are a pretty good team. We end up getting shelled, and I mean shelled, by the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know where that came out. I did see that we actually have here, and I knew we had a lot. We have 13 pitchers on IR right now. 13 pitchers. So that might have a little bit of reason why people are giving up like 10 runs. But I don't know. What's your thought about that division? Because no one wants to run away with it. And by all rights, the Phillies aren't playing great. If they were playing great, they would have been at least 5-6 games up in front of us instead of 1.5.
Yeah.
So I just want to get your opinion of that, with that over division. And the Braves are seriously having a down year. I don't know if that division, whoever comes out of that division just loses immediately, when we get to the playoffs. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the NL East is funny, right? Because you're right. The Braves, 4th in that division. They're now a game and a half behind the Miami Marlins. But when the Phillies do poorly, the Mets are doing poorly. So there's no space between either one. The Mets are what? At one point, they were like 4-14 since mid-June. I guess since then, they're probably like 6-16 or something like that, because the way they've been rotating wins and losses. And you would think when one team's going 6-16, the division leader would pull away. And the Phillies just have not. Both teams are 2 of the better teams. Like, they have 2 of the better lineups in the MLB. I think for the Mets, they are the better team. I think the Mets just have to weather the storm of all of these pitching injuries, hope they can get a couple of them back to bolster the rotation and bolster the bullpen. And then once they get a couple of them back, I think the Mets turn away Phillies fans. I know Matt and Bob probably don't want to hear this. I think the Mets, once they're able to, if they're able to weather the storm, will start to put a little distance between themselves and the Phillies.
I think you're right, but you're right. We got to get the pitching back. That seems to be an issue. It is the issue.
Yeah.
All right. Again, when you give up as many runs as we did against the second worst team in the National League, and we get swept, and they average 8 runs a game. It is like that, and a couple of them they got 10. So that was just, pitching obviously was a thing, but I appreciate that because I think you're right. If we can get our guys back and get them back healthy, maybe after the All-Star break, I think we can make them run. It's just we got to get her. Think about that: 13 pitchers on IR.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
The thing too about the NL East is like the Nationals aren't good. They're 37 and 53, but they're also not horrible. Maybe I'm being too generous with them, but I feel like they're not a horrible team. Like every game that you're playing against an NL East opponent, it is a tough game. And the Braves sitting there at 13 and a half games back of the Phillies, like say they start to find a rhythm somehow, some way, it's not out of the question for them to start kind of clawing back a couple of spots. So every team in the NL East is a tough game to play. And I think that's another reason why you're not really seeing the Phillies or the Mets put any space between anyone else. It is kind of granted, the Phillies and the Mets have a like 11 game lead over the third place Marlins, but it's a tough division.
That's what I mean. We go play against the Marlins, we lose. Down especially in Florida, we play really well at home. We do not play well away. So that's the other thing. I think we play abnormally well at home and abnormally bad away.
6 games under 500, Dolphin Dave, on the road. 6 games under 500. That's tough.
So, yeah, you got to be able to beat that. Gentlemen, I hope you have an incredible week. Thanks for taking my calls. Let's go Mets and let's go Dolphins. Have a good one.
I love it, Dolphin Dave. Have a great Monday. Have a great week as well. And it's baseball season. You're in the dog days of baseball when Dolphin Dave's calling in, getting updates on the Mets.
Yeah, no, it's funny, this area that we live in. There's a lot of Braves fans, there's a lot of National fans, but there's just a really heavy collection of NL East in general, which is similar to the NFC East, right? In football. Like there's just a heavy collection. I'm almost tempted to say that a lot of people are just haters of their regional teams, and that's how we end up with all that. Like you have Commander fans, and then there's people who just like the Cowboys or the Eagles or an opposing team because they hate the Commanders. Just like people just, like I said, we all collectively hate the Mets, but I mean,
except for the Mets fans.
Yeah, except for the Mets fans.
Actually, I would argue that the Mets fans hate the Mets.
But I feel like that all happened because the Braves were so popular originally.
Yeah,
and
then it just kind of grew from that.
Yeah.
That's a good hypothesis.
Soto didn't make the All-Star team.
No, Soto didn't make the All-Star team. Mookie didn't make the All-Star team. That's tough.
I don't mind Mookie not making it. He's been kind of off, man.
Yeah, but it's a name brand recognition. Clayton Kershaw made it
as a legend. Yeah, Mookie ain't there. Yeah, he ain't that old. Yeah,
Clayton That's so funny to me that Clayton Kershaw. Like, congrats, you got your 3,000 strikeouts. But this was on the show before ours. I'm Over It with Pat Costello, and he made a point. I typically don't fully agree with him, but he did make a good point about why does every team need an all-star, and why are we giving away legend places? This isn't a participation trophy. I'm in full agreement with him. I don't love the legend thing. It feels like a slap in the face to a legend. Like, oh, you weren't good enough in the twilight of your career to make it to the all-star game, but you know what? You can still get there. We'll still let you in. It just doesn't feel as precious to me. Like the legend selections, Cabrera, Pujols in 2022, Kershaw, he doesn't like fully deserve it. So I don't think he's an ultimate competitor. I don't know if you necessarily want to put him in. I don't love the legend selection.
I'm because Pujols did it for me, man. It was nice seeing him get the last game. I feel like, look, it's funny because I didn't say this on air, but I hold myself accountable. So I couldn't openly be like, yeah, I don't like it either. When I advocated so hard for Pujols to get one last ride, man, Kershaw deserves it too, for what it's worth.
I will say they deserve it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because like,
I mean, we did it for Magic. We gave Magic one last ride too in the All-Star game where he probably didn't deserve to be there, and we got a great moment for it.
You know what I would love to see?
What?
Old heads coming back for the old heads versus new heads game. So you get like,
God. We got the big three for that.
Oh my. You're right. I forgot about the big three.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Do you like the big three?
It's okay when I've got nothing else to watch. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, it entertains the folks that go, like, they pay the tickets and stuff, and they're affordable. They're not crazy.
No, they're fine.
Yeah, so it's entertaining, and as long as you keep that in mind, and you don't think it's like real basketball, because there's when it first started, there were times where people would be like, "Why is so and so not in the league?" I'm I'm like, there's a reason. There's levels to
I think
this.
it was Michael Beasley who was playing like the big three at one point. People were like, "Oh, he's dropping." Joe Johnson. It was like the year after
ISO Joe. Yeah,
he's nice, and I think he's still in the big three.
I mean, he will forever be ISO Joe, but there's a reason why he's not in the league, because ISO Joe can't give you 5 solid minutes in today's NBA. And Beasley really did run himself out the league, but even with his conditioning, I don't think he could give you more than a solid 7 minutes a game.
Speaking of Beasley, the stuff that's coming out with Malik Beasley, the Detroit Pistons guard,
yeah, he's cooked.
The sports betting, if you guys haven't been paying attention to this, this story took a pretty big turn over the weekend, where it turns out that he was leveraging future money in his contracts to pay off his debts and get more sports betting credit. So this dude was deep in the hole, and he's cooked.
He's cooked. And,
there was a investigation spanning over 18 months before they issued the subpoena or whatever it was they issued to him last week.
Did you see the Guardians pitch? They caught the Guardians pitcher, threw 2 random balls as sliders. And this is why I say, 1, is never worth it, and 2, people just don't understand how deep the book goes into protecting their assets. But they had money in 4 states fluctuate on those 2 particular pitches happening to be balls. If I said that right, they just happened to be balls, but like money came in on them being balls, and they were way out the strike zone, and he got flagged. So he's under investigation.
It's crazy. I mean, it is crazy. They are watching every little bet come in. When I worked at a sports book, we offered lines on like minor league tennis in Europe, and they got exploited. And you can easily tell.
The micro bets probably get watched harder than just the regular line, because
micro bets get watched the hardest,
because they're the easiest ones to really finesse.
You can gain an advantage. Like if you're even if you're at a game, like sometimes you are quicker than what the book updates it. So if you have quick enough Wi-Fi, you can be at a game texting your friend who's at home placing the bets, like next pitch ball, or you can just have a system. And they'll catch you.
Oh, they will.
They will catch you, because they don't like losing money. The book never loses.
Cheat your bookie. Don't cheat the book, man. They will get you. And you will be promptly banned.
Hey, don't cheat your bookie either, because
I wasn't actually advising.
No, probably not. All right, well, we'll be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Monday morning, right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN.
Your daily 3 to 4 p.m. pit stop for unfiltered sports takes, statewide debate, and no-holds-barred analysis.
Richmond's game, Matt's Lane.
Don't miss it.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Golf season is here. Whether it's your first round of the year or the next round, make sure you're playing it at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. We're offering special pricing this summer on outings for civic organizations, churches, kids' athletic teams, or your own special fundraiser. Also, now is the time to start signing up for your fall golf outings. For more information or to book a tee time, give us a call at 804-749-1900 or visit online at huntinghawkgolf.com.
Statewide Sports Talk starts here. Border to Border with Matt Josephs on W291CL Lakeside Richmond and WURV HD2 Richmond. Bold takes, no filter. Lock in on 1061 ESPN.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome into hour number 2 on this Monday morning of Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside, and we haven't said this for a while. So if you're looking for morning sports talk radio that fits just right, we hope that we Fitz the Bill. Appreciate you getting your day started with us on 1061 ESPN Richmond, ESPNRichmond.com, or the ESPN Richmond app. If you want to watch the stream, head on over to our YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond. We will pop right on up and you can watch there. Subscribe while you're there as well to our YouTube channel. And if you also feel so inclined, head on over to Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA on YouTube or Instagram. Follow, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. We post a lot of segments over there. So if you ever miss something, you can catch up over on the Fitz the Bill YouTube. We'll have exclusive content, behind the scene takes, everything like that on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just type in Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA and we will pop right on up. So I want to keep diving into a little bit on this whole Nationals fiasco up in DC right now, because yesterday they fire their manager, Davey Martinez. I feel like when you talk about a fired coach, though, you shouldn't use his nickname. I feel like we should refer to Davey Martinez from now on as Dave Martinez.
Nobody's ever called him Dave Martinez, though.
I know that's a funny thing, but I feel kind of mean for Davey. Like that feels like a buddy. Like, oh, chum.
Nah, man. I mean, this is what we know him as.
So, yeah, they fired Davey Martinez. Then they fired general manager, president of baseball operations, Mike Rizzo as well. And from the reaction of it, and also from my opinion of it, the Lerners have quickly, did not take that long, they have quickly filled the role as the most hated ownership group, ownership family, whatever it is, in DC. Snyder left, and it took, just about a year for them to fill the void of most hated with the way that they treat their books, where they handle their budget, where they get rid of superstars that has brought them World Series, everything like that. Lerners have quickly filled that. I will say, I understand why Davey Martinez got fired. That makes sense, because just a few weeks ago, Davey Martinez, this man goes on a post-game presser and says, the blame for losing should never fall on the coaching. Huh? What? It made the players, this was according to sources that talked with the Washington Post, quote, shock, dismayed. They used another word for this, but essentially very upset. Then Davey Martinez the next day had to clarify that, it was never about the players. Huh? Was never about the players? Is he making some sort of veiled comment about the ownership group? I mean, it very well could be. When Rizzo got fired, he had a text to Barry Sfrolga of the Washington Post, quote, the sun will come up tomorrow. That's the job. I had a great run, navigated that ownership group for almost 20 years. Some things could be percolating underneath the surface, but even then, since the World Series went in 2019, the Nationals have the second worst record in MLB, in front of only the Rockies. The Rockies are the only other team who have had a worse record in MLB since the Nationals won the World Series in 2019. Martinez is 122 games under 500 in his 8 seasons as the Nationals manager. And I think what kind of came back to bite him in the butt was right before spring training started, or right before the season started after spring training, he set the expectation pretty high. He said the expectation going into this season is the playoffs. And now where they sit, last place in the NL East, sitting at 37-53. Looks like the playoffs are a long, long, long way away. So I can understand Davey Martinez being fired. Even last week, Ivan called into the show, and I think he asked, who do you expect to be the next coach fired? And I said Davey Martinez. And so this one wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was Mike Rizzo being fired. It is absolutely mind-boggling that Rizzo got fired. Mind-boggling. One, for the fact that the draft is, July 13th? So it's days away.
They got his notes. That's what I would assume.
It's Kevin Costner. Draft this person no matter what.
They got his notes already.
But okay.
So you should hold out.
But I mean, he's also like not bad as a drafting general manager.
No, he's not bad as a drafting.
People point out that like from about 2014 to 2023, this is from a Reddit user, Vaughn_Bluff and Brooks_Gate. That
sounds credible.
Hey, Reddit sources, the research that Reddit puts in is unmatched.
No, it's pretty good.
So they found that the Nationals are next to last in total WAR generated from first round picks from 2014 to 2023. I will remind you that during that time span, the Nationals were never really drafting in a favorable position in the first round because, I mean, they had some success over those years, so they were typically middle to late first round. So it's not like you were going for surefire stars. Because when he was going for surefire stars, he drafted Steven Strasburg. I don't know if you heard of him. Pretty good pitcher.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper. Don't know if you heard of him. Pretty good pitcher. Nationals couldn't re-sign Bryce Harper because the ownership group didn't want to give him the money. Anthony Rendon was pivotal in bringing them that 2019 World Series. Now he has fallen off a cliff over in Los Angeles, so it might have been a good thing they didn't re-sign him, but they did try to re-sign him, but the ownership group would not open their pockets. Around that same time, drafted Lucas Giolito, who was then flipped for Adam Eaton, who was a very instrumental part of their 2019 World Series. In recent years with these higher picks, Dylan Cruz, who's one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball, drafted Seaver King, who's currently their fourth best prospect in the national system. I believe he's playing around with the Fred Nats right now up in Fredericksburg. He may have jumped up to high A, but when he has some good picks, he's a good drafter. And his trading and free agency signings, when he's given a budget that is easy to work with, he's been fantastic. Get Scherzer in free agency. Key in the 2019 World Series. Traded Soto when he did to get back C.J. Abrams, to bring back James Wood, Mackenzie Gore, all-stars. Mackenzie Gore, a future ace, or you could argue is the ace now.
I like Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, I liked him. I like him too. Now
that took some foresight.
That took a lot.
Because I think wasn't he part of the Yankees organization at one point? Or maybe I'm missing that. Maybe,
Rizzo?
Maybe no.
Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore. Maybe that's another pitcher. But either way, I when the trade was made, I felt like he was an afterthought. But Rizzo and them seen something in him.
Yeah, they got a very good pitcher with him, and like he traded for Trey Turner before Trey Turner made his MLB debut.
Yes.
So had the foresight to see Turner was coming up. James Wood was before his MLB debut. Now, James Wood was kind of regarded as a top prospect in the minor league system. But I mean, the dude trades well, signs free agents well when he's given it. He built that World Series roster, and we were talking about in hour number one. That World Series roster, man, was poised for years of success if they just opened the checkbook a little bit more.
Did you mention Reynaldo Lopez?
No.
Yeah, because I think he scouted him too and got him. I think Reynaldo Lopez came in with Giolito, and both of them got sent to Chicago for Adam Eaton is what I remember. And to get Adam Eaton was a pretty crucial plug at that time. It was controversial because Giolito and Lopez were supposed to be like, the next
the
best
next
thing.
like 1-2 punch.
And as a Braves fan, like we had Reynaldo last year, and we obviously enjoyed it. His record is pretty darn good, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pretty good.
Like looking it over yesterday when the news came through, and even this morning, I was like, man, he's been there for a while.
Maybe I'll take him in Atlanta.
Yeah,
we could use a regime change.
like he built that World Series roster so well, and then it was built to last. Duralast, man. Free plug. Those jingles get stuck in my head. But he built it to last, and then the ownership just didn't want to pay anyone. Like, you could have gotten something worked out with Juan Soto. You didn't. You decided to spend all of your budget on Steven Strasburg, which who knew that he would essentially have a career-ending injury like the day after he signs that contract? That's just bad luck. But you set it up where you could have re-signed a lot of those guys and kept that core together and kept it shrugging. Instead, you trade Juan Soto, you trade Trey Turner, you trade Max Scherzer, and it's just like, oh, we have now one of the worst rosters in baseball.
Well, since we're here, let's just go ahead and put the elephant in the room in the open here. Rizzo's downfall to his 2019 team was trusting Scott Boras too much.
Yeah.
Boras had all his top players.
Yeah, he did say, let's just bring in all of Scott Boras's top clients and he'll cut us a deal. No.
Never works.
And the other elephant in the room, COVID hit.
Yeah,
and that
too.
kind of threw a wrench in what was supposed to be for the years to come. So it's just
don't trust an agent, man.
Never trust an agent. Never trust an agent. But what
were you gonna ask?
No, I was just like, this is just such a wild move. Like, I don't think Davey Martinez should have been the coach next season. So I'm not that upset over the Davey Martinez firing, but it's the Mike Rizzo side of it, where this dude has been with the team since 2007, took over GM duties in 2009, and has just been a mainstay of Washington and has brought them their World Series. And for all intents and purposes, has done a very good job rebuilding this roster, where I think they are in a position to be a playoff high ceiling team next year. And they just let him go.
Yeah,
no real reason.
He truly will fall.
He'll be fine.
Yeah,
the Nationals won't be fine.
That is the head scratcher of the move. There is that Rizzo got the axe and not Davey. Again, when you got a young team in and you have the sound that Davey has, like he sounded like he was tired of the team. And if he's saying that publicly, we can only imagine what he says privately.
Yeah.
You have to save your young players and their confidence, because we've had plenty of instances in professional sports where these young guys are impressionable. We've been young before. We remember those days, and sometimes you don't have the right leader to get him there. And I think Davey kind of wore out his welcome. If he gets with the franchise that has more vets, it'll probably work better.
Which is what happened in 2019.
He'll get another job for sure.
Yeah, both of them will land on their feet. I don't know if the Nationals are going to land on their feet. That's my key takeaway. Like,
they're so talented, man. It'd be hard not to.
Yeah, but just like that, they've shown that they don't like paying their stars.
That's true.
So, like, just right when they're getting good, buy James Wood, buy Mackenzie Gore, buy CJ Abrams.
Who's James Wood's agent?
Scott Boras. What if it's Scott Boras?
Oh God, if it is.
But I mean, like, just
oh, it is.
Is it actually?
It says Boras Corporation. I was
Yikes.
thinking it's him.
Yikes. Come on, Rizzo.
I was joking, but now I'm concerned.
But like, you could blink, and if they have another lackadaisical year or lackadaisical start to a year next year, bye. That GM going to come in and clean house, because all these guys are also Rizzo's guys. So then you wonder how much loyalty he has to him. Lot of question marks. We don't even know who the interim manager is going to be, because all of the position coaches and base coaches, they were Davey Martinez's friends. He brought them all in. So it'll be interesting to see who they go with in terms of getting an interim manager set up and all of that fun stuff. But
dude, man, that stinks, man.
Who's CJ Abrams' agent?
I'll check, but CJ Abrams, he'll come at a discount.
Because he's betting at BetMGM at National Harbor the night before game.
He's acting like Beasley. Oh, he's got Rock Nation. They get hustled all the time. They do.
So hopefully they can.
I'm not worried about that, but man, Boras, that's it's gonna be tough.
That's tough.
Enjoy him while you can, DC.
Yeah, James Wood gone. Mackenzie Gore probably gone.
He'll be in Boston, Chicago, Cubs,
New York, whoever's LA.
Yeah.
LA.
One of those four markets.
But and then you got Seaver King coming up, who was like a top 10 pick. he's been kind of slow out of the gates down in minor league baseball. Dylan Cruz, up and down, a high end prospect. You've got you've got young guys out there.
I like Dylan Cruz. I hope it works out for him.
Same,
because he got overlooked a little bit because the pitcher was really good on his team.
Who was that again?
I forgot his name.
Oh, is it the pitcher that doesn't get any help from the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Hey, they're better than the Braves right now. Never thought I'd say that, but
they weren't last night. They weren't last night.
Not last night.
We're introducing a new segment coming up at about 9:30. It's going to be the top 5 dogs of the weekend.
Oh God,
Paul Skeens is one of them.
We got to say it like that.
Dogs. We'll get a sounder made for it. It'll sound really good, I think.
Were you back home with me this weekend? Dogs.
Dogs. We got some dogs. It's like the Coastal Carolina coach.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We don't need cats. We need dogs. And we got top 5 dogs. But Paul Skeens, man, what he did over the weekend, you would have not come into work if the Braves had what the Pirates did last night.
No, I mean, honestly, if anything in my life was related to what Skeens goes through on a daily basis at work, man, like this guy shows up every day, gives 110%. He's literally willing to victory. And every time he leaves, he's got to sit there and watch. It's torture. It's literally torture. You got to sit there and watch them blow the game
every single time.
Yeah.
Dude went 5 innings, 10 strikeouts, didn't allow a run. Team lost.
Yeah, probably the minute he got out, they gave up a homer or something.
You know who beat him, though? Shout out the Seattle Mariners.
Well.
Cal Raleigh. All-star starter, baby. That's a notable starter right there. The big dumper.
I know. Who gave him that nickname? Has that always been his nickname?
No, I think it started this season in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because you haven't seen Cal Raleigh, just look up a picture of him.
I know he's a big guy, but still. Wouldn't approve that name.
He's got a big dumper.
Yeah, wouldn't approve that.
So Twitter just took it and ran with it, and now it has become like a rallying cry.
Yeah.
You gotta love how social media does that, right?
Now, I'm excited for this All-Star game, and there's a little bit of buzz around it. Just seems like guys are gonna come out and compete. So we'll see.
Have they announced pitching starters yet?
They have not. In fact, my friend, if they haven't done it for the American League, because I was listening to the broadcast last night on 106.1, and then I was also getting texts from my friend talking about our guy Scooble and whether or not he's going to be the starter. I mean, if they do the rotation right and he's able to go, I don't know anybody that I would put in front of him.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably more debate on the National League side than the American League side.
See who comes out so far for the starters. The starters and everyone. No big like shockers, I think, for either side. Javi Baez, though, shout out to Javi Baez.
Oh, the maestro, man, El Maestro. He's always been my guy.
What a resurgence he's had.
He's always been good. What are you talking about? He was bad.
If by good you mean really good at swinging a baseball bat, then yes, you are correct. He was the best at swinging at the first 3 pitches he saw.
Vlad Guerrero is the only guy I can recall that could free swing at anything that came across the plate or around the plate, and he still batted 300. Everybody else is like sub 2 if they're lucky, but Vlad somehow made a career out of it.
Vlad was something. Now his son
tries a ball that bounced to the plate like anything.
His son tries to do the same thing, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't fully. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a starter in this year's All-Star game. But Javi Baez, I think he's the first ever player to be a starter at shortstop and outfield in an All-Star game. So good for him. The resurgence is real.
Dang, Tatis. Oh, because he can't field. Never mind. Yeah, his fielding's awful. Because I was like, Tatis should have been there. But then I thought about it. They moved him from shortstop to outfield because he was terrible. I think they moved Baez because the guy was just younger. He couldn't hit.
And he probably was a little step slower at shortstop or something. And they're like, all right.
His fielding's always been there. Effort's been a little questionable sometimes. But his fielding's the range has been there, I believe.
Maybe that's why he was able to stay in the lineups after hitting like 150.
Oh my God, yeah.
God, I'm glad he's had that resurgence. But
he put some respect on his name. World champion.
He was
the Chicago
bad.
Cubs. Javi Baez.
He was bad. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Get ready for another Triple Crown season.
Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN.
Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN. Streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Bonaire Shell has been serving the RVA community for 20 plus years, providing service with a smile and technicians you can trust. Family owned and operated, 8762 Huguenot Road.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99 plus $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever. Right now at the Home Depot.
This is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves, and when I'm on my road trip to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it.
Welcome back in. Fitz The Bill rolling right along on this July 7th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside. And Alan, our friends up at the Henrico Sports and Events Center have inadvertently, they're not really involved in the skerfuffle, but they were the venue where the skerfuffle kind of happened. So they were hosting a cornhole championship on ESPN over the weekend for 4th of July. Was a great event up at the Henrico Sports and Events Center. But then ESPN decided to air the end of that cornhole match rather than flip to the MLB All-Star Selection Show.
I don't understand what the issue is.
And fans are pissed.
What fans? What fans, man? Well, like, honestly, you can go to Twitter and get your update on the selection show. It wasn't even that big of a surprise. Like, maybe Soto being left off is a surprise or whatnot. But outside of that, like, if you follow the voting, you know who's on the team.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it didn't even go over the entire selection show. It was just the first 10 minutes of the selection show.
Man.
MLB fans are funny, man. MLB fans are funny.
They just want something to complain about.
And it looked like it was a great finish to the cornhole tournament.
Cornhole tournaments are exciting.
Look, I was running the cornhole boards this weekend at my 4th of July cookout.
I mean, we play horseshoes back home, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, same exact concept. I was a little off, though. My arm's feeling it today.
Now I'm a tailgate superstar, man. Back before I had my media credential and I was professional, I would go to like sporting events. Me and my friends, especially college football, it'd be nothing to hit up a tailgate and hop on some cornhole for a little bit of change.
Maybe that's what we do for games this year. Instead of actually covering the game, we cover the tailgate.
I was a menace in SEC country, man, because that's where my friends are fans of. So like Tuscaloosa and Gainesville, Athens, like we were all over down there. Never made it out. The furthest west we went was Arkansas Stadium in Fayetteville. That was a lot of fun too.
Do they call it bags down there, or do they call it cornhole?
I heard bags.
Bags.
Yeah.
Bags. You want to play some bags? Let's go play some bags.
No, it was a little thicker than that.
Come on, let's play some bags. It is an interesting kind of, not juxtaposition, but there is a storyline underneath the surface with it, because ESPN did exit its deal with the MLB earlier this year.
They're supposed to be renegotiating that.
So
apparently,
yeah, trying to quote unquote renegotiate it, whatever it is. But this probably won't help them get some goodwill with the league. So the MLB is trying to figure out where they're going to find $550 million for next season, because that's how much ESPN was set to pay for next season's MLB rights. And reports indicate that the two sides are in early stages of negotiating a new deal, but some are saying that the decision on Sunday evening to air cornhole from the Henrico Sports and Event Center to air cornhole over the MLB All-Star Selection Show might give MLB a moment of pause for what they decide to do moving forward. Just you gotta love fragile egos of multi-billionaire people who run these sports.
You have a network. This would be my only rant. You have a network.
Why did they put,
you can put that on your network.
Yeah.
Your actual MLB network can do that.
What are we doing? I didn't even think of that part of it. That's like
ridiculous.
the NFL Network puts all their Pro Bowl stuff on the NFL Network.
Yeah, and they do their own side draft coverage too, and it was cool. They had a WWE collaboration on there.
What are we doing? Why are we complaining? Who owns the MLB Network? I think it's ESPN, but still put it on MLB Network.
Yeah, I mean,
push people to your own dang network.
And that's what the network's there for. Like the secondary things like this, like the actual All-Star game itself can be on ESPN, but like the selection show can be on MLB Network.
Yeah, because exactly what you were saying. Who needs this?
Yeah.
Who's watching it and is like, I didn't know Vlad Guerrero Jr. was an All-Star starter.
You can even access the MLB Network through your app now. MLB at Bet, I believe. I think it's all
it's all there.
Yeah. So seriously, you're making us think about nothing.
Well, that's what MLB fans do all the time.
I have to go to some random website to find my cornhole. So
not this weekend. On Sunday, it was airing live on.
I know,
ESPN,
but I was back home
at the Henrico Sports and Event
in the
Center.
mountains of Amherst County, so I still couldn't go. If I was like, in my normal spot here in Richmond, I'd have went. My cousin plays professionally. It gets intense, man. It's pretty cool.
It was intense this weekend at the cookout I was at.
So funny like side story, but like he has a competitive name. And so when I went to find him at one of his events,
you didn't know where he was?
Yeah, I didn't know where he was.
Greg, where are you, Greg?
So I'm asking for him by name, and people are like, who is that? And I gave him so much crap.
Is his name like Tossin' Bags with a Z?
Something goofy like that. Yeah, it's really bad. I was like, yeah, I told him, I was like, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to take a picture, send it to your mom too.
Nice.
It's awful.
Nice.
But he's not even the best. He's not the best one in our family though. But
is that you?
No. I'm okay. But I have another cousin who's just a natural, but he just doesn't play.
Fair.
He just plays for fun. But like our cousin that plays professionally makes pretty good side money on it.
Pretty good money. All right. Well, let's get a break in here. On the other side, we've got a new segment. The top 5 dogs of the weekend. Coming right up right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Summertime in RVA means Richmond Kickers soccer games at City Stadium. Family fun, food trucks, and men's soccer action on the field. Tickets online at richmondkickers.com.
Serving Richmond and beyond for over 20 years, Bonaire Shell features a full line of automotive services. Check out bonaireshell.com, loaded with coupons, specials, and more to see all that they can do for your car and your peace of mind. And now with their Fuel Rewards program, you can save at least 5 cents per gallon on every fill-up. Learn more at fuelrewards.com. Go see the team at Bonaire Shell, 8762 West Huguenot Road. Go to bonaireshell.com or call them at 272-3232. That's 272-3232.
Golf season is here at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. Plan your next golf outing for your kids' athletic team, church group, or fundraiser online at huntinghawk.com. That's huntinghawk.com.
This is Joe and Q. When they won the draft lottery, I said that this is going to work out so much better for them than even the Luka situation. I just think that Cooper Flagg is that type of player. I don't think this guy stops as far as working. Whereas Luka, he has so much stinking talent and he's so good, but I don't think that he's a guy that's just working on, I got to get in the gym and get better. I don't think Cooper Flagg is ever satisfied.
Joe and Q, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I think success in year 2 for Caleb Williams is them making the playoffs. The Chicago Bears need to make the playoffs this year. And I know on the surface that might seem a little harsh because it is only year 2 of Caleb Williams. It's year 1 with him and Ben Johnson. But success looks like them taking a step forward. They need to get to the playoffs this year.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. This is Freddie and Harry.
This could be the best situation for a number 1 draft pick to ever step in the NBA. Not saying Dallas will be a championship team immediately, but if everybody's healthy and everybody is right, Cooper Flagg does not have to worry about having that kind of pressure to lead the way. In 2 years, this will be his team. He can make a difference from day 1, but in 2 years, this will be his franchise.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Statewide sports, straight talk, and no fluff.
Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN.
Your daily dose of hard-hitting Virginia sports debate. Don't miss it.
$1 zillion. The question is, who let the dogs out?
Top 5 dogs. One, did not know that was the start of that song. Shout out Baja Man. Shout out to Baja Man.
Oh man, that's perfect, right? I mean, it's the only thing I can think of with dogs.
that was 10 out of 10. The top 5 dogs of the weekend here. Number 1, Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut's number 1, man. Good for him. He ate 70 and a half hot dogs.
It's too cliche. He eats hot dogs and he's the top dog.
Just wait for what number 5 is.
It's too cliche.
Look, he comes back after a year off. I mean, he takes the year off. Some say he was banned, whatever it may be. So in 2023, the last time Joey Chestnut competed, 1 million people watched the hot dog eating contest. Mm-hmm. The year before that, on ESPN News, 1.03 million people watched it. In 2024, without Joey Chestnut, that number fell to 831,000, the lowest since COVID.
So he's Caitlin Clark.
So he's very much Caitlin Clark. So he comes back. We don't have the ratings yet, but we can just assume that there was a large spike, returns, reclaims the belt. And shout out Joey Chestnut. He's the top dog of the weekend. Unfortunately for him, was unable to beat his record of 76 hot dogs.
He's falling off.
Some saying he's getting a little old. He was doing an interview. I think it was with Barstool or someone like that. And he was like, yeah, I'm getting fat. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're eating like a lot of calories in one sitting. A lot of calories. I'd like to see him do the 999. What inning do you think he would finish the 999 in?
It's the drinking part that might get him, but I would assume he can do that too. He definitely finished the
hot dogs in the
he
first
finished
inning.
the hot dogs before they even get done with the at bat.
The first at bat of the game. He's like, all right, I need 9 more. It's like, bro, what?
But I don't know I don't know about his drinking. So that would be the one I would be confused by.
That's fair. All right. Number 2 dog of the weekend, Paul Skeens. Feel bad for this guy, man. I feel really bad for Paul Skeens.
At some point, you're doing it to yourself, Skeens. Just quit.
You just quit. I hate small market minded owners, and that's the Pirates. Heck, that's the Nationals. The Nationals, you're not in a small market. You should spend the money to keep your stars. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, shoot, Pittsburgh's not necessarily a small market. You should spend the money to build around a generational talent you have. Paul Skeens over the weekend struck out 10. Count them up, 10. In 5 innings, he was averaging 2 strikeouts an inning. That is absurd. 5 innings, allowed no runs. No one came across. Guess what? The Pirates lost the game 1-0. In 19 starts this season, count them up, 1-9, a 1.94 ERA, a .92 whip. So on average, in a single inning, less than 1 base runner is getting on against Paul Skeens. What? And you have a 4-7 record? Someone get this man some help. Someone, well, his next start, someone fly a helicopter over the stadium, rappel in, pull him out of there, and drop him in any other franchise that is willing to build around him.
Well, it's only his second year. So, I mean, I want to give him a chance. That's something I've never thought about. What's the time frame for MLB? Because like football, I think we all agree it's within 3 to 4 years usually in football. Basketball is probably around that same time, 3 to 4 years depending. But baseball sometimes it's a little bit longer, right? Like you got to get the pieces together collectively. It's a little bit harder. I don't know. Like, how long do we give him? Because it's only his second year, and he came into the team being god awful. So I feel like I'm guilty of this. We're a little unreasonable to think they would just change
in one offseason.
Yeah,
I think it was the fact that they just didn't spend it all this offseason. So it's not like they even tried to take a step forward. Like heck, you have O'Neal Cruz, who has shown to be a flashy star. You have Paul Skeens. And then you didn't spend any money. They're one of the lowest spending franchises in MLB. That's my issue. You have shown no prerogative to go out there and make your team better. Instead, you're kind of sitting back and you're like, well, we'll sell out the stadium every 5th night when Paul Skeens starts. And that just feels like you're robbing the fans and everything. That's my issue. Because, yeah, you're right. Is it a little unreasonable to expect them to be a World Series contender in year 2 of Paul Skeens? 1,000%. But it's not unreasonable to say they should have gone out and maybe signed a star or started to build around Paul Skeens. Because right now it's Paul, it's Cruz, and can you name anyone else on the Pittsburgh Pirates? Andrew McCutchen. An old Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, they don't have Reynolds anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I couldn't name too many on the team either. I feel like we should give him at least 3 years. At least 3 years. So we'll see how it looks next year. But if I'm Paul Skeens and it hasn't gotten better within those 3 years, I would just go ahead and start preparing my exit. I mean, for real.
If they don't do anything this offseason, I think I'm Paul Skeens. I'm like, trade me.
And I'm sure it's hard to lure, big name free agents. Like I'm not asking you to go into a bidding war for Juan Soto. Yeah.
But I'm not asking you to spend $750 million, but who was your premier offseason acquisition last year? You didn't have one.
Yeah. You got to give me something.
That's my issue. Like if I'm Paul, I'm like, look, man, I'm going to need you to open up the checkbook a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Like the Reds, the Cincinnati Reds are like, you can see the sparks. Like they got Hunter Green rolling. They got a couple other guys that have come up. They've got their own Cruz, who's also a baller.
And that took a couple of years. Yeah. That's been like 3 years in the making. So I'll give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there.
So like next year, I fully expect them to contend for their division because they've made the appropriate strides. It's been a slow build, but it's been there. But like with the Pirates, I'm like, dude, you got to do something. You can't just go, hey, look, we got Skeens, and then that's it.
Yes. Like this is the crazy thing. Juan Soto is making $61 million, 62, we'll round up $62 million this season. The Pittsburgh Pirates highest paid player is Mitch Keller, one of their pitchers, for $15 million this year. Their top 2 players are Mitch Keller and Brian Reynolds, $15 million and $12 million combined, still making less than Juan Soto. You could combine all of their payroll this year, and it would just be $20 million more than the Pirates. Like that is insane. Pittsburgh Pirates total payroll is $89.9 million, and Juan Soto is making $62 million this year. That's the issue. You didn't go out and you do any. Your big player this year's Andrew McCutchen. Congratulations. All right, Ben Shelton just got underway at Wimbledon about 9 minutes ago. His racket started flying. as he's one of the lone American men still left on the men's side of Wimbledon. We're going to head out to line one because I've heard Bruce wants to talk a little Wimbledon on this Monday morning. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. Fitz, excellent lead in. That's all I was going to say was Ben Shelton. And let me say this as well. You know, that was a sweet move he pulled to get his lucky charm. So he's claimed his sister as his lucky charm.
Oh, yeah.
And his last win, he went to his sister's employer, Morgan Stanley, and said, hey, don't take my lucky charm. Don't make her come in to work on Monday. And so that was sweet. And they granted her PTO from what I understand. She's there this morning. So that's doing it a little bit different. So glad to see this guy who's playing. I'm a tennis fan who's playing great tennis, guys. So let's add. I'm glad we're going to add him into your snooze segment because he's doing the work. He's putting in the work.
And you could say he's one of the top dogs. I mean, yeah, it was funny. It was darkness. They had to suspend the match, and they came back the next day, and he won his third round match like within 60 seconds.
Yeah, they tried to pull a move, but we ain't gonna get into that. We're not gonna. So, guys, the back page is, Ben was beaten up, and so people. It wasn't really dark, and I guess but the referee said, hey, we're going to suspend the match. And an effort hoping that Ben would lose some of his steam, and he came back with even more steam. So that's it. That's what it was.
He needed 1 minute. It's like what Gail Sayer said, just give me 18 inches of daylight. Ben Shelton said, just give me 1 minute and I'll finish this up real quick. Don't worry about it.
We've not had Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras was a bad dude, y'all. But we've not had, I hear Andy Riddick on the set on Saturday morning. But we've not had a person that we rally behind. And hopefully Ben will change that tenor.
Yeah, we've not had a great men's tennis player in quite some time. And if his match got pushed back to 10-10, a 10-10 start. So they'll get underway in just a little bit. And if he can get his way to the quarterfinals, things look good for him. Got another American, Fritz, playing tomorrow at 8 a.m. So right when the show starts, right when Fitz the Bill starts tomorrow, Fritz will get underway. So first time in a long time, I feel like we have two Americans this deep in Wimbledon.
And I think Fritz is serving around 130 miles an hour.
Woohoo! That's fast. That is fast.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So, hey guys, I mean, it's I love the Grand Slams of the French Open, Wimbledon. Of course, I want to go to a U.S. Open. That's a bucket list item for me to do. But it's just great tennis because Richmond is a tennis town. We often don't talk about that.
Hometown of Arthur Ashe, celebrating 50 years since he won Wimbledon. Yeah, big time.
Amen. And so we've had greats come through Virginia Union that, Reggie can tell you more about that. But we've had great coaches, great tennis players, and Arthur Ashe is just the epitome of all of that.
Yeah, I love it. Bruce, thank you so much for calling in. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy watching Wimbledon. Hopefully Ben can get a win here later today when he gets going in about 30 minutes or so.
Thanks, guys.
There goes Bruce. Appreciate Bruce calling in. Get us over on the Wimbledon a little bit. A little honorable mention there for Ben Shelton, one of the top 5 dogs of the weekend. We'll make it 6 for Ben Shelton.
Yeah, that's fine. Tennis is a sport that I have watched. My best friend he still plays tennis, but he ain't playing at this level.
Yeah.
And that is something that in no timeline could I ever imagine myself having the stamina to do that.
No. Well, I went to an NCAA regional for tennis once, and I was just impressed with it. Like just their ability to play. And They'll go on for hours sometimes. It's just like, oh my goodness.
VCU had a crazy tennis program when I was there. I stopped following it after I graduated, but I would imagine it's still pretty good. And he's right. Like tennis and soccer are pretty popular sports.
Yeah. In the DNA of Richmond.
Yeah. Ingrained.
That's the word I was looking for.
I'm there.
There you go. There you go. You said you were tired this morning. You're not tired on that side of the glass.
I got a little caffeine during the break, but I'm still
You're chugging that tea, that Clementine tea.
Yeah.
All right. So the number 3 dog. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Have you heard about what the Rockets GM did? He's the number 3 dog.
Is it the 7-team trade?
He pulled off a 7-team trade to get Kevin Durant. It's the first 7-team trade in NBA history. Is it excessive? 1,000% right it is, Alan. All told, everyone involved. You ready for the list of teams?
Yeah.
The Atlanta Hawks, 1. Brooklyn Nets, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Phoenix Suns. 6 players were dealt. Kevin Durant, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Clint Capella, David Roddy, and Daquan Plowden. 1 first-round pick was used. 12 second-round picks were also traded. And Houston did a pick swap, a second-round pick swap with the Atlanta Hawks and sent them cash considerations. Huh? NBA sitting here. Why don't more people pay attention to our trades? That's why. And the NFL, it's we want X player, give us this. And it's like,
yeah, your free agency is confusing enough in the business side of it. Now we got 17 trades.
Now we got 17 trades. And some of it is pick swaps with cash considerations and first round picks. And I mean, Clint Capella was a sign and trade that really wasn't even involved with this, but it's technically part of this trade to make the books right. And Kevin Durant goes there. And if you can do a 7-team trade, anything is possible.
And can I gripe about Kevin Durant's exit post?
One,
that's one thing I wish I could change about this generation of athletes, man. We don't need a post. We don't need an Instagram or something. Like, remember when we had that conversation? We're like, why didn't you just put it? Or they were saying, why didn't you just put it in the paper? You know what? Go back to that. Like, just put it in the paper. I don't care about like the tweets and things like that, because I get all these alerts and it's like Kevin Durant says goodbye to Phoenix. He wasn't there long enough to say goodbye.
Let me read the goodbye Kevin Durant said to Phoenix. This is a Twitter X post, whatever you call it. My time in Phoenix has come to an end. All these stops along the journey have really impacted me
a lot of stops
in a positive way. Remember, it's a world behind the scenes, and those who make things work in that space work tirelessly to make our lives easier as players. I appreciate all the quick interactions with everybody, from support staff to teammates, distant cousins. It's all a family that I'm grateful to be a part of, no matter what. I truly believe this NBA is a one big community. Much love to Arizona. Houston, can't wait.
So ridiculous.
Good old KD.
So ridiculous.
And so that's who the Houston Rockets have to deal with now after their GM, who is the 3rd dog of the week, pulled off a historic 7-team trade. 4th dog of the week, Shane Van Gisbergen. Because in NASCAR, if you missed it over the weekend, he won the Chicago Street Course. He has now won it twice out of the 3 years that they have run it. And you could argue that this dude is the greatest road course / street course racer in the history of NASCAR. He started off as a road course ringer, kind of like Boris Said. That's a deep cut if you were a NASCAR fan in the 2000s. Boris Said would always come around and race like Sonoma, Watkins Glen, all of those random road courses.
Mm-hmm.
And now Shane Van Gisbergen got us his start as that. He won his first ever race, which was the Chicago Street Race in 2023. Now, over the last 3 years, 3 street course wins. 2 of those have come this season. And now this is his first full-time season, now has multiple wins. And just to compare, just for fun's sake, since 2023, he has won 3 races in 28 tries. Alex Bowman, who's in the number 48 Hendrick Chevrolet, has had 88 races over that same time span, not picking up a single win. Go ahead, Shane Van Gisbergen. You're doing it.
So there was a little bit of a controversy there towards the end. You want to explain that?
Was the controversy was the wrecking of Logano?
The white flag is what I had read, is that there was a white flag and they didn't put the white flag up until Van Gisbergen got in first and crossed the
there was a yellow flag.
It was a delayed caution.
Yeah, and people weren't happy because they didn't see something. It was a Cody Ware crash, I believe it was, and they didn't have a track official in that corner of the. So they didn't see it happen until it was later on, which fans, rightfully so, are then upset about because they're like, "What do you mean? This is a multi-billion-dollar sport. How do you not have a track official in every single turn just standing there?"
That is a fair.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Especially in today's world, we got drones covering sports.
Why do you not have camera? Whatever it may be. So
that is fair.
There is a little bit of controversy around it, but hey, he's hoisting up the trophy.
Yeah, because essentially people were saying they just wanted him to win.
Yeah.
But it seems like you said, it sounds like he's built for it.
He is
just what he does.
He came from rally cars, something. I think it was rally cars, and he's used that to have extreme success at these street courses. Yeah, Ty Gibbs came in second. He finished. How many laps did he lead? Trying to see how many laps he led. But Ty Gibbs is another good road course racer early on in his young career. And our fifth dog of the weekend. You're going to love this one. Hot dogs.
So cliche.
All right. Because 150 million of them were estimated to be eaten over the July 4th weekend. So just real quick, shout out the dogs. Shout out the dogs. The literal hot dogs.
150 million?
150 million. 70 and a half of them were in Joey Chestnut's stomach.
I was going to say, Joey Chestnut got at least 8% of it.
A lot of those were also eaten at Parlay Bar and Lounge in Graybo's over there in Scott's Addition, where Paul Tran, nicknamed McNasty, only ate 9 of them. I'm throwing down the gauntlet with him.
McNasty and what's the dumpster or whatever, what's the guy?
The big dumper?
The big dumper, yeah.
Cal Raleigh
and the big dumper.
And then Jack Hazelnut.
I'd rather be called Jack Hazelnut. I gave you a lot of grief for your name, but
I got a competitive eating name. It's Jack Hazelnut.
McNasty sounds more like a burger. I'm sorry. That's what I think when I hear Mick. I think McDonald's and I think burgers.
I think it's super bad.
Obviously super bad too, but it's not hot dog related.
No, I agree. Let's get our last break in here. We'll step aside, wrap up this Monday edition of Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. And make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
From Richmond and beyond, Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN breaks down Virginia sports like nobody else. Bold opinions, zero sugarcoating. Tune in.
Welcome back in Fitz the Bill on this Monday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. I want to let you guys know that ESPN Richmond and Fitz the Bill proud to be a sponsor for the Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference on September 25th of this year. You can check out the link in our Instagram bio at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. See if you want to get tickets. Use code FITZ when you check out to be part of this event. Don't miss out on the Virginia CEOs Fall Leaders Conference, September 25th. Open to business owners, executives, their teams, everything like that. Ross Bernstein will be a keynote speaker. He's a best-selling author of over 40 books. Ready to inspire your team, sharpen your leadership edge, and connect with fellow business leaders who are striving for greatness. Get your tickets now. Link at our Instagram bio and link on our podcast description as well over on espnrichmond.com. Just saw a quote that came out from Mauricio Pochettino about the handball no call in the Gold Cup final. He said, quote, "I'm not going to cry. I want to tell the truth. And the truth is, if that happened in the opposite half, in the other box, for sure, it's a penalty."
It's not a penalty.
It's not a penalty.
And if it was called a penalty, that would have been incorrect.
Yeah,
again, you have a right to brace your fall.
And it's only a handball when you are purposely making your body bigger and trying to gain an advantage by using your hand to touch the ball.
Yeah, we've seen guys, when they line up for the free kicks, they put their hands behind their back, and if they turn not to get kicked in the stomach and the ball hits their hand, they don't call that either.
Yeah.
So
he was just falling down, and it
comes from EPL, man. He knows better.
Does it stink? Yeah, 100% it stinks, because if it had been called, if it was wrong, the U.S. probably gets a penalty kick. They probably win the match, and they're hoisting the Gold Cup trophy. Instead, their last international competition before heading out to the World Cup next year is a loss. And that does stink, but it was the right call. It was the right thing at that point in the game. It was the right call at any point in the game. And America, we still had a ton of opportunities to win that game. And you know what we were unable to do? Come through on any of those opportunities. And you know what Mexico did? Came through on their couple of opportunities to find the go-ahead goal, hold on to that, and win 2-1. Was there time wasting at the end? 1,000,000% there was a ton of time wasting. But that strategy, and I think the commentators were doing a good job of talking about that. They're like, this is the advantage you get by having the 2-1 lead in the 90th minute. You get to time waste. America would have been doing the same thing. So
I actually would prefer us not to be time wasters, because it's scary, man, because we lose possession quicker than anybody.
That was bad.
It requires skill to waste time. You got to keep possession.
Lost the possession so many times in our own third.
Yeah.
Just like you're watching it and you're like, just make the right pass. Why are you doing it there? Why? Angles, man, geography. And I know I have a better view of it up here, but man, oh man, just a bummer. All right. So we've got RVA's best sports talk for the rest of the day. Clinton and Friends from 10 until noon. Got Joe and Q as we normally do from 12 until 3. And then we are back live and local with Matt Josephs from 3 to 4. He's back with Border to Border, folks. Then Bob Black will join him from 4 until 5 with the Mashup Hour. And the Sports Huddle returns from 5 until 6 as Bob will take you on home with your drive home right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Then we've got no Braves baseball tonight. A little bit of an off day for Atlanta as they look to bounce back after losing to the Orioles.
You can't bounce back, man, from this weekend.
You can't bounce back from a lot of things that the Atlanta Braves have been doing.
Braves need to make a move at the All-Star break. If they're not,
might be too late, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way you're gonna make a run. Air quote.
11 games under 500 for Atlanta.
I've seen people close bigger gaps.
They are the only third place team in whatever division across MLB to have a positive run differential.
I bet, because they get hit.
They are funny. So
bullpen, man.
Braves will be back in action tomorrow night in Sacramento with the nameless Athletics. So keep it locked for that as they look to lick their wounds a little bit after Baltimore. So that'll do it for Fitz the Bill on this Monday morning. I've been Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan has been alongside. Thank you for tuning in, getting your week going with us after that long weekend. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll probably talk some more NFL tomorrow. Break that down. Get a couple guests. Should be a very fun week. So keep it locked right here on 106.1, the spot where Richmond talks sports. 106.1 ESPN.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1.